Hey everyone, welcome to Social Sutras, Sutras to simplify social thought. So, according to a recent Lancet study, India's TFR is dipping irreversibly to 1.29. Now, this is important for our sociology paper too because population dynamic is a topic mentioned in the syllabus. So, according to this report, TFR is dipping irreversibly to 1.29, which is far lower than the replacement rate of 2.1. Now, what is TFR? TFR in simple terms means the total number of children born or likely to be born to a woman in her lifetime if she was subject to the prevailing rate of age specific fertility in the population. When the TFR decreases below 2.1 children per woman, it indicates that a generation is not producing enough number of children to replace itself. It also indicates that working age population is depleting or declining rapidly. The report also says by 2050, 1 out of 5 Indians will be a senior citizen and there will be fewer younger people to take care of them. According to Global Burden of Disease, Injuries and Risk Factor Study (GBD 2021), across the globe also TFR has more than halved in last 70 years from around 5 children for each woman in 1950 to 2.2 children in 2021, and in India the TFR was 6.18 in 1950, then it reduced to 4.60 in 1980 and further declined to 1.91 in 2021. Now, what are the reasons for declining fertility in India? So, after independence, population control was an important agenda because there was need to restrict the rising population. So, government started the family welfare program. So, maternal and child health related cash transfers were provided to the citizens to convince them, to incentivize them to have no more than 2 children. The slogan you might have heard, हम दो हमारे दो, right? So gradually it led to change in the behavior. Attitudinal change was witnessed and people started producing lesser number of children. Also there was one thing, government took measure to reduce the infant mortality. So earlier people used to produce 5, 6, 7, 8 children because survival rate of these children was less. Out of 7 to 8, only 2 children used to survive. Now with the intervention by the government, this IMR, that is infant mortality, it declined. So child survival was guaranteed. So small families became the norm. Small families became the norm. Now the second reason is rise of female literacy. So with the rise in female literacy, TFR, it declines because educated woman has greater control over her reproductive health. So she will be producing lesser number of children. So women have fewer children and they are having that at later age, not in early ages, right? So after 30s, in mid 30s, they produce children. And in urban areas, many women, they have chosen not to have children at all. No children, they do not want kids. You might have heard about this term, dink, double income, no kids. I have made a video on dinks also, you can watch it. And also they are going for adoption. Some of these couples are going for adoption, and this pattern is percolating to rural India also. This pattern is percolating to rural India. This can be witnessed in rural Indias. So women are having fewer children, educated women are having fewer children, that too at later age of life. And in urban areas, some of these women, they have decided they will not have any kids, right? And they are going for adoption. The next point is women's workforce participation rate is increasing. So career consciousness is increasing amongst the female. is increasing among the female, and they are less dependent economically on the males, so they reconsider their options of having two child. Now the next point is economic dimension. With development, the intergenerational flow of wealth has reversed. So what is this economic dimension? With the development, the intergenerational flow of wealth has reversed. So parents now do not receive much benefit from their children the way they used to get earlier. So this has influenced their decision to not have an additional child, not have an additional child, because producing an additional child will means additional cost of bringing up that child, right? So economic dimension is also there. Also, contraceptives, the use of contraceptives has increased. Use of contraceptive has increased. Government started a program, mission parivar vikas, under which access to contraceptives were provided. So these are some of the reasons for decline in TFR. These two reasons you can club under women empowerment also. Now, what can be the long term consequences of this? So the first one, share of the elderly population will increase sharply. So by 2050 it will be around 20%. So 1 out of 5 Indians will be senior citizen. So need for care, senior citizen care need will be there. Also we need to focus on their healthcare, geriatric care. So issues related to pensions, and elderlies do face health problem, psychological problem, physiological problem, alienation, they feel alienated. So these will be some of the problems associated with the rising elderly population. There will be labor force shortages, right, which will lead to slower economic growth, because reduction in labor force means your economic productivity or production will hamper, which will slow our growth rate. Then there can be potential social imbalances due to gender preferences. Now since families are going for lesser children, small family has become a norm. So since patriarchy is still prevalent in India, those who are going for small family, they want to have only one child, and that child should be a male. So gender preferences, so they will prefer male child, and this can lead to skewed sex ratios and related challenges associated with this thing. Now, what is the way forward? So we can learn from the Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Denmark. So how they are dealing with these kind of challenges by supporting new families. So we can provide affordable child care to working parents. Crèches can be set up in the workplace. We need to invest in healthcare and take large scale male engagement initiative to build gender equity. Please look at this point, the next point. Women, now women, they face double burden. Now they have to do the office work as well as the household work, so it becomes difficult for them. So if they have to manage their careers with the motherhood, man need to take greater responsibility for household and care work. So man should come forward, take greater responsibility. They should say that we will also contribute in household work and care work. So male engagement, so that there can be a gender equity. Now the next point, economic policies. We need to promote, or we need to work on those economic policies which stimulate growth, and which leads to job creation, because joblessness is a is a major issue Indian economy is facing. Now alongside, we also need to focus on social securities and pension reforms, especially for the elderly, right? And these will help in adapting and mitigating the impacts of declining fertility rates. So these are some of the important suggestions which you can write in your answer. Also you can quote the name of Sonal D Desai in your answer whenever the question is related to population or associated issues. So I hope you like this video. Keep watching, keep learning. All the best.